Welcome to the Soul Art Podcast. I'm your host and guide, Will Caminada, and it is my mission to help you become more in touch with your soul, expand your consciousness, and shine your light brighter and brighter so that you can live a life with more purpose, inspiration, and love. My intention for this show is to create a safe place where you can find support and guidance on your spiritual awakening and healing journey. Hello, 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 beautiful soul. Welcome to the Soul Art Podcast. I'm so glad that you're here, and I'm so grateful and honored that you chose to listen to the Soul Art Podcast. This is the second episode where I will give you 9 signs that you're going through a spiritual awakening and what to do about them. If you haven't listened to the first episode, The Spiritual Awakening Journey, I suggest that you do before listening to this one. Now, before I get into today's episode, I just have a small little favor to ask of you, and that is to take a moment of your time right now and leave a rating review on my podcast on Apple Podcast. Because when you do this, you help me reach more beautiful souls and help fellow humans to expand their consciousness and listen to my messages of love. Make sure you hit the subscribe button right now so you never miss any future content as it rolls out. So, back to the 9 signs you're going through a spiritual awakening. All that I speak is from a personal experience. I wanted to create this podcast to be able to share my journey and my findings to support you and help people expand their consciousness. I've been committed to my spiritual path and healing journey for over 10 years now, and it's really become my mission to help humanity heal and ascend. That's why I founded Soul Art, which is my solo company that provides you with guided meditations, breathwork healing sessions, inspirational and educational content, online courses, all to provide guidance and support on your spiritual awakening and healing process. So let's get to the first sign that you're going through a spiritual awakening. Number 1 is you're questioning everything in your life. You're questioning your choices, your job, your friends, your diet, your lifestyle, your values. Questioning is a big one. And I believe with this pandemic here in 2020, a lot of people were sort of pushed into questioning these things. So I do believe that we're going through a massive global awakening. And like I said in the first episode, oftentimes, many times, we awaken in the face of challenges. And so the question here is what to do. Well, keep questioning and assessing your emotions and how it feels in your body. Let your emotions be your guide. So for instance, if your diet is making you feel bloated or tired or sleepy and it's draining your energy, or it's making you feel hyperactive, then it's a sign that something needs to change. Once you're aware of that and the effect it has on your emotional and physical body, then act on it. And to be honest, there's no recipe here. You just need to be curious and open to experiment. In this case, you could try different food, a different type of diet, fasting. Actually, this is how I became a vegan. I had chicken and fish for most of my life, and it got to a point where I was having chicken every day and I was feeling bloated and tired every day. And so I listened to my body. I listened to the signs that my body was giving me. That's also the intuition. You listen to your intuition. And so I decided to cut down on chicken for once and for all. And I turned to fish only. And very quickly, I started feeling the same things as to when I was having chicken, and I decided to cut down on fish. And from that point on, it was very easy to just cut down on any dairy. I didn't have that much dairy before anyway, so it was mostly just like yogurt, and then I cut down on eggs. So it was a very natural and organic process. Like I said, I listened to my body, I listened to my intuition. There's a lot more I can talk about how I became vegan, so I might do another episode about that. Let me know in the comments if you would like to hear that. So, number 2, you are reflecting on your past and gaining a deeper understanding and perspective on your traumas and fears. That's the not so pretty part. It can be scary, but just know it's a good thing. It's a good thing that you're actually gaining a deeper perspective on the bad stuff in your life, or stuff that you've been traumatized by. We need to rewire our brains. So we need to sometimes revisit those moments. We need to feel in order to heal. And sometimes we just suppress or repress our emotions, and we have done it for so long. We just really need to feel our emotions. And then the question is what to do. That's when healing tools and the healing modalities will be of huge help. So it's super important that you find the right guidance, the right mentor, a good healer to support you on this journey. So you can find, meditation is something huge. I always talk about meditation because it's been huge for me. And actually meditation, it could be something that you can learn by yourself, and you can just, it is a practice more than something that you learn how to do. And you can find lots of meditation, guided meditations, and music for meditation. I have meditations on my website, and here on the podcast, I'll record every month. But you can also find workshops, sound healing sessions, breathwork sessions, hypnosis, traditional counseling, mentors, and even talking to friends that have gone through a deep healing in their lives, and they might be able to share their journey, and you might be able to learn from them. And going to number 3, you are no longer blaming others for certain things that have happened or are happening in your life. You are taking responsibility for what's working or not in your life. You are owning your story. So when you start looking within, you realize that everything is within you, right? And you are, it sounds silly, but you are responsible for yourself. And yes, there might have been external situations and circumstances and people around you that caused you to suffer, to feel pain, but you just you're not looking outside anymore. You're looking within, and you're taking responsibility for whatever happened in your life, and you start forgiving. You start forgiving others, you start forgiving the situation, you start forgiving yourself, and basically you just stop blaming everything else and everybody else for what's not working. Because what happens when you blame, you're pointing the finger, but you're pointing the index finger to the situation or the person, but there are 3 other fingers being pointed to you. So that might tell you something, right? And then the question is what to do. Well, this is huge, and it's super important because this will bring the power to own your life. The most important thing right here is to have self compassion and self love, because you will slip. You will still be triggered and might still want to blame the external world or people around you, your parents, your siblings, your spouses, whatever. Always go back to your center. So, this combined with a constant spiritual practice will help you regain your power and guide you into the direction of ownership of your story. So, journaling and writing letters to yourself can also help greatly here too. And that's actually one of the reasons why I wrote my book, Soul Art from Darkness to Light. And I actually started my book with a quote by Brené Brown. That's one of my favorite quotes because it really summed up the reason why I wrote the book. The quote says, "When you own your story, you get to write the ending. When you don't own your story, it owns you. You must own your story and love yourself through that process." That's one of my favorite quotes, and when I read it, it hit me real deep, and I decided to put on my book. And it says everything. You just have to be the owner of your life and just love yourself through that process. Number 4, you need more alone time, and big crowds are overwhelming to you. You're looking for ways to connect more deeply with yourself, like meditation, breathwork, prayers, etc. Or even just hiking and walking alone or with a couple of friends. So, this one, I actually would like to share an experience back in 2018. I lived in Berlin for a little bit, for a month, and Berlin is full of nightclubs, and the nightlife in Berlin is wild. And by then, I was already going through a very deep and a big spiritual awakening journey. I had gone the year prior to that. I lived in Thailand, and I'd gone through a deep month of healing and yoga and meditation. So I knew better. I knew myself well enough to know that I couldn't handle big crowds or wild nights, right? And I'm not saying this with any kind of judgment. I'm just saying that from a personal perspective, I just knew that I didn't fit that anymore. And that's not to say that I'm never gonna like nightclubs ever again, but I just didn't. And one night, some of my friends decided to take me to this nightclub, and that was wild. It was wild. It was dark, and it was. I mean, everybody was drugged, and I'm like, again, I'm not judging because I've done that before, and I share that in my book too. But at that point in time in my life, I didn't want to do it, and I was just stubborn because I knew that my energy wasn't gonna match the energy of the club, or actually vice versa. The energy of the club wasn't gonna match my energy, the energy that I was in, the energy that I wanted to keep for myself. So I stayed in the club for maybe 15 minutes and I left and I went back home. So that's to say what to do. I mean, listen to your intuition. That's the biggest thing, right? And just listen to what you want to do. What do you just ask yourself, what do I really want to do? Where do I really want to be? Who do I want to share my time and spend my time with, right? So I guess also for me, one of the things I've been learning is to learn to say no to invites that you don't want to go. If you said you were going and don't feel in the mood, don't go. Prioritize you and your well-being. And all of that to say too that you might find that you still like crowds, but the right kind of crowds or the right kind of tribe. So if you feel like you still like to socialize and you still like crowds, just make sure you find the right tribe that resonates with your energy. And number five, you are becoming more intuitive. You're having a gut feeling about your choices, people, and environments. That's more of the beautiful part of the awakening journey because you are learning to trust your intuition. You're learning that that voice in your head, it's not really your ego anymore, or actually you're learning to differentiate the voice of the ego, the voice of the fear, with the voice of intuition, the voice of your guides, that is a loving voice that tells you what to do in a loving way and guides you into the right direction. And you just learn to trust that first instinct, that first voice that comes into your consciousness and tells you, go right, or talk to that person, or go to that event, right? You start trusting your intuition and not doubting it. So that's a beautiful thing. And then the question is what to do. Trust, trust, trust. You will learn more and more. The more you practice and the more you trust, you will keep learning to differentiate the voice of your intuition and the voice of ego. And again, an example is when I became a vegan, I let my intuition guide me. At some point, I was actually calling myself an intuitive eater because I was eating whatever made me feel good. So before I eat something, I would ask myself, what do I feel like eating right now? Or even just asking, if am I hungry at all, or do I want to eat just because it feels like it's lunchtime? So that's a big one. Becoming intuitive is beautiful, and it's gonna help you so much in life in general. Number six, you're experiencing synchronicities. You're not only seeing them as signs, but you feel like they are trying to convey a message to you. And that's the amazing thing, too. The thing here is not that these synchronicities and coincidences were not happening before, it's just that you were not attuned to them. It's like the radio frequency. The music is playing, but you're not tuned to their frequency to listen to the music. So now that you're going through this spiritual awakening and you're more awakened, you start realizing those, you start noticing those synchronicities. And at first, they sound amazing. And you go, wow, I can't believe. I mean, I'm still amazed. But the thing is, the more they happen, the more you trust them, the more you trust your guidance, the more you trust your intuition. And it feels just like a confirmation, and you start seeing synchronicities everywhere. And then the question, what to do? Remain open and attentive. Remain open, like remain with your heart open, especially because your angels and your guides are always trying to communicate with you and send messages in many mysterious ways. And on the other hand, though, try not to become obsessed or paranoid, thinking that every little thing is a sign just because you wake up in the morning and you just think that this is a sign in itself. I mean, it's a miracle when you wake up in the morning, but you get the point here. Just try not to be paranoid and think that every moment everything is a sign. Although I do believe that every moment your angels and your guides are actually guiding you and protecting you and trying to communicate with you. You just have to, again, remain open, remain with your heart open. Right, now we're going to number 7. You may be having more vivid dreams. You're also having a clearer memory of what they were and how you felt during these dreams. And this one is a big one for me too, because like I said in the first episode, I started having dreams about my dad from an early age, and he would show up in my dreams and send me messages or just a good feeling so that I could feel good. And we do a lot of astral traveling while we're dreaming. So if you are having more vivid dreams or even lucid dreams, it's definitely a sign that you are going through an awakening. And actually, dreaming is a big topic. I would probably do a whole episode about dreaming. Let me know in the comments if you would like that too. And don't worry if you are someone who doesn't dream much. It's normal that you will once you start and keep a consistent practice of meditation. And I can confirm because I've seen many of my clients and students, once they start meditating, they start having dreams, they start remembering their dreams. What to do? So that's it, consistent spiritual practice. If you want to go deeper, number one, set the intention before you go to bed. So it's like telling your subconscious mind what to do. And it can be as simple as telling yourself, you can say it just mentally or out loud before you go to bed. You just tell yourself, I will dream tonight. I will remember my dreams upon awakening. And that's it. And then number 2, I would journal in the morning, or you can maybe record on your phone. So as soon as you wake up and you get up, you can start writing whatever you remember from your dreams. And if you don't want to write, you can take your phone and record it. So number 8, we're getting to the end of this. You're realizing how important self-love is. Yes, self-love again. I am talking about self-love again. You're loving yourself unconditionally. You know that other people's opinions of you belong to their perhaps limiting conditioning and own self, their own sense of self-worth. So that's a big one for me. I always talk about self-love, and some of you may know, but I spent a good portion of my life just hating myself for being gay and not accepting myself for who I was. And for so long, I lived in repression and just a lack of self acceptance and self love. So it was quite a journey for me to get where I am today and love myself unconditionally. And that's also in my book. The first chapter is all about the journey to self love, and I share a lot of personal experiences to get to this point where I am today. So the question is what to do. Well, keep loving yourself, because self-love is a lifelong practice. You're not gonna get a badge or a certificate. There's no graduation, right? It's just like meditation. It's a lifelong practice, and just become aware that we are mirroring ourselves all the time. If I love and I accept myself, this is what I'll see in others. If they don't love themselves or they have judgments about themselves, they will project that onto you, and it has nothing to do with you. So you'll do you and they'll do them. I will create an episode all about self-love because I think it's probably the most important thing in this life. And number 9, the last one. You are listening to this podcast right now, and you feel like you're more and more being drawn to videos, books, and posts with inspiring and spiritual messages. Moreover, they are making sense to you more than ever. Yes, it will seem like this type of content will be poured into your timeline and feeds and YouTube recommendations and book recommendations. When I was going through my big awakening, that was, I guess, 2013 or 14, I was consuming a lot of this content, and I still do. But it was Oprah, Super Soul Sunday, all the time on my YouTube. And look, there is so much out there, so much. And what to do? That's the question. And it's simple, keep exploring, keep studying, keep connecting with like minded people. Keep consuming content that nurtures your body and your soul and your mind. However, we have to be careful to, number one, not everything you see, read, listen, or watch is legit. Consume it, but take everything with a pinch of salt. What I mean is always try to go to the source, the original teachings and masters. So do your research, because we realize that a lot of the spiritual masters, they are probably passing on information from other ancient spiritual masters. And number 2 is be careful not to be quote unquote so hungry. I call it the awakening hunger. You're so hungry for this kind of information that you sort of become obsessed, and it may cause some bad digestion. So take it easy and know that you're awakening anyway. It can be a little bit dangerous because you sort of feel so powerful and so hungry, like I said, and you think that you're invincible, and you might become a little bit arrogant even because you think that now you know the mystery, the secrets of life, and it can be dangerous. So always keep yourself humble, do your research, and just chill a little bit, because I always say that every aha moment is you awakening more and expanding your consciousness. So if this resonated with you, actually, I'm gonna do a recap because there are 9, right? So let's do a quick recap before I finish the episode. So number 1, you're questioning everything in your life, your choices, your job, your friends, your diet, and your lifestyle, your values, and etc. Number 2, you're reflecting on your past and gaining a deeper understanding and perspective on your traumas and fears. Number 3, you're no longer blaming others for certain things that have happened or are happening in your life. You're taking responsibility for what's working or not in your life, and you're owning your story. Number 4, you need more alone time and big crowds are overwhelming to you. Number 5, you're becoming more intuitive. You're having a gut feeling about your choices, people, and environments. Number 6, you're experiencing synchronicities. Number 7, you may be having more vivid dreams and remembering them. Number 8, you're realizing how important self-love is. Self-love. And number 5, you're listening to this podcast. More and more, you are being drawn to videos and books and spiritual posts and stuff with inspiring and spiritual messages. So if this has resonated with you, You might be going through an awakening journey right now, and I'm sure you are on a beautiful spiritual path. If you want to find some support and guidance, you can find a 7-day online program on my website called Soul Art from Darkness to Light. My website is www.willcaminada.com, and I'll leave the details in the description. And this program contains a very healing meditation and a journal PDF file with soul questions to help you reflect, heal, and make sense of what you're going through. You can also book a one-on-one healing session with me. I work mainly with breathwork and meditation. I use my intuitive gifts and my voice to help you heal and to guide you into connecting with the light within. Well, that was fun once again, and if this has brought you value, please subscribe to my podcast and take a screenshot of it, share it to your Instagram story, and be sure to tag me so I know that it's brought you value, and also your friends might benefit from this episode. As always, keep shining your light, keep your heart open, and let love lead the way. I love you. See you in the next episode.